What if the storm you feel approaching is not born of clouds and wind, but of energy, karma, and time itself? What if strange signals from space are not random, but warnings? What if we are not at the beginning of chaos, but at the end of an age? Across the skies, scientists whisper of anomalies, powerful solar flares, strange gravitational pulses, and ancient stars behaving as if they remember something we do not. But the ancients did remember. They encoded it into stone, into scripture, into vibration. The Vedic seers named it Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, of forgetfulness, of the soul's exile from its own light. Now, something stirs. Something shifts. It is subtle, but unmistakable. The clockwork of the cosmos groans like a gate long locked. And humanity? We are at the doorway, unaware, unprepared, yet deeply called. This is not merely astronomy. This is not mythology. This is the silent collision of timelines, where ancient prophecy meets present reality. The storm is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to awaken you. Stay. What you are about to hear may shatter what you believe and reveal what you have always known. For thousands of years, sages, prophets, and mystics have spoken of a time when the earth would tremble, not from earthquakes, but from the shift of consciousness itself. A time when veils would thin, when truth long buried would rise like mist from the soil of memory. According to ancient Hindu cosmology, we are living in the final stages of Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, a time marked not merely by external chaos, but by a deep forgetting of who and what we truly are. But what if this age is not just ending? What if it is collapsing in real time? In recent months, strange phenomena have emerged from the cosmos. Gamma-ray bursts flicker from unknown corners of space. The Earth's magnetic field behaves erratically. Telescopes record objects they cannot explain. Frequencies shift. Solar storms rage. Scientists stumble for language, while the spiritually attuned recognize a deeper pulse beneath the chaos. This is no ordinary moment. The cosmic clock is turning. The storm approaching is energetic, karmic, and deeply metaphysical. We are not merely witnessing a breakdown of systems. We are participating in the unraveling of a cycle that has governed our consciousness for millennia. Kali Yuga was never meant to last forever. It is the fourth and darkest phase in a grand, cosmic cycle, one where human virtue decays, truth becomes elusive, and disconnection reigns. But within the Vedas lies a deeper truth. Even the darkest night has a dawn. And that dawn comes not with the end of the world, but with the end of illusion. The strange signs in space, the increasing intensity of global events, and the inner restlessness felt by millions are not disconnected. They are symptoms of something ancient and profound waking up. The Earth herself is aligning, not politically, not economically, cosmically. In this journey, we will explore the origins of Kali Yuga, the esoteric meaning behind the cosmic signals appearing today, and the hidden prophecy embedded in our spiritual timeline. We will look deeper into what the storm really is, and why it is not something to fear, but something to understand. You did not come across this video by accident. Somewhere deep within, you are already feeling what is happening. Now, let us go deeper into the mystery, into the truth, into the storm that does not destroy, but transforms. In the sacred annals of Vedic tradition, time is not a straight line, but a spiraling wheel, eternally turning, endlessly cycling. The sages of ancient Bharat did not measure time in centuries, but in yugas, vast epochs of spiritual evolution and decline. At the heart of this cosmology lies a truth modern civilization has long forgotten. We are not at the pinnacle of progress, but at the end of a long descent. The Vedic texts describe 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, each representing a gradual decline in human virtue, consciousness, and harmony with the cosmos. Kali Yuga, the age we inhabit now, is the darkest and shortest. It is the age of forgetting, when illusion reigns, dharma fades, and humanity becomes unmoored from the divine source. But how did the ancients know? Long before modern science pointed telescopes at distant galaxies, ancient civilizations tracked celestial rhythms through sacred geometry and spiritual intuition. The Mayans, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, and the Vedic seers all pointed to a similar truth. Our destiny is written in the stars, not metaphorically, but literally, etched into the great cosmic cycles that mirror the rise and fall of human consciousness. In Sanskrit, this divine ordering of time is known as Mahayuga, the Great Age. A complete Mahayuga spans 4.32 million years and includes all four yugas. We are told that Kali Yuga began at the death of Lord Krishna around 3102 BCE. That means we have been in this cycle of darkness for over 5,000 years. But here is the mystery. Kali Yuga is not fixed. According to some lesser-known interpretations, it can be shortened by divine intervention, by the awakening of human consciousness, or by a cosmic reset, what the ancients called pralaya. What if the age we call reality is not solid, but malleable, determined by frequency, consciousness, and our alignment with higher truth? The storm we speak of is not simply a meteorological or astronomical event. It is the fulfillment of this ancient cycle. And there were warnings. All around the world, cultures spoke of a time of great forgetting, followed by a time of remembering. The Hopi elders told of a great purification. The Norse warned of Ragnarok. The ancient Chinese referred to the mandate of heaven being withdrawn when harmony was broken. The Dogon people of Africa spoke of visitors from the Sirius star, system who seeded knowledge and warned of celestial corrections. These are not myths. They are encrypted truths passed through the language of symbol, parable, and cosmic memory. The ancients observed the skies as mirrors of our soul. Eclipses, planetary alignments, and celestial disturbances were not merely signs, they were messages. And now, as solar activity increases and strange cosmic anomalies appear in deep space, the ancient knowledge begins to pulse again in our collective psyche. We feel it in our bones, even if our rational minds resist. In the temples of Angkor, Wat, in the carvings of Göbekli Tepe, in the alignments of the pyramids, in the Vedic texts and Upanishads, there lies a single whisper: prepare. The cycle turns, the veil thins. In the Vishnu Purana and the Bhagavata Purana, there is mention that at the height of Kali Yuga, when corruption, confusion, and chaos reach their zenith, a new light will emerge, an avatar known as Kalki, the harbinger of truth, riding upon a white horse, wielding a sword not of violence, but of pure clarity. While mainstream interpretations paint this figure as a literal being, esoteric teachings suggest Kalki is symbolic of awakened consciousness, a force rising within humanity to cut through illusion. Could the storm we sense be the stirring of this Kalki energy within ourselves, not as a person, but as a collective ascension? The yugas are not just history, they are memory patterns encoded into the soul of our planet and our species. And when the Kali Yuga nears its end, the Earth begins to cleanse, not to punish, but to restore equilibrium. What we see in space, strange pulsars, disappearing stars, magnetic pole shifts, and gamma-ray flashes, may be the celestial language of transition. The ancients would have read these signs not with fear, but with reverence. This is the hidden root of our moment in time, a chapter the modern world has forgotten. But truth does not die. It waits. Now, as the old world strains under the weight of its own illusions, as the artificial systems falter, and as the stars speak once more, we return, not to superstition, but to cosmic alignment. The ancient ones left us maps. We are the generation destined to read them. The ancient knowledge of yugas was not meant to remain confined to temple walls or the minds of long-gone sages. It was a cosmic compass handed to humanity as both a warning and a guide. And though the mainstream world may scoff at such myths, these encoded truths have now begun to pierce the veil of modern life, revealing their relevance not only in the stars above, but in the cracks of our collapsing systems, our aching hearts, and the silent call of the soul. Kali Yuga is not just a philosophical idea, it is an operating system for the world we live in. Every dissonance we experience, our deep inner unrest, the collective anxiety, the spiritual void masked by technological obsession, can be traced back to this age of confusion, distortion, and inversion of truth. It is the age where light hides behind shadow, and where truth is labeled as illusion, while illusion is worshipped as truth. Have you ever felt that something is profoundly wrong with the world, even though you could not point to a single reason? That is the echo of forgotten time whispering through your intuition. In the modern world, we are seeing the very symptoms the ancient texts described. Truth is mocked, while lies are elevated. Wisdom is buried, while distraction is glorified. Spiritual. Authority is externalized, and the inner voice is ignored. Nature is seen as something to conquer rather than revere. The soul is suffocated under material desire, consumerism, and virtual simulations of reality. These are not coincidences. These are the hallmarks of Kali Yuga, still unfolding in the very fabric of our lives. But something strange is happening. Something the ancients also predicted. A stir, a rupture in the pattern, a cosmic awakening. As space phenomena accelerate, solar flares intensify, magnetic fields shift, and anomalies are detected beyond comprehension, something in the human collective is also shifting. The veil is thinning. Dreams feel more vivid. Time feels less linear. Emotions surge like tides. People are beginning to question everything from their jobs and relationships to governments, education, and even reality itself. This is not breakdown. This is awakening. The knowledge of the yugas helps us understand this pivotal moment, not as chaos, but as cosmic alchemy. In the darkness of Kali Yuga, the light does not disappear. It simply retreats inward, calling each of us to ignite our inner sun. That ignition is happening now. What ancient seers wrote about as a distant prophecy is now becoming a personal experience. The storm in space, whether it is a literal cosmic disturbance or an energetic metaphor, is deeply tied to the human psyche. As above, so below. When stars behave erratically, so do our emotions. When solar winds collide with the Earth's magnetic field, we feel it as headaches, anxiety, emotional purges, and even spiritual insights. Modern science may call it space weather, but the mystics call it Shakti rising, the energy of transformation that breaks what is false to reveal what is real. What if the agitation you feel is not a flaw in your being, but the sign of a soul aligning with the frequency of truth? More and more people are experiencing what ancient texts called spiritual remembrance. Sudden awakenings, kundalini, surges, visions, synchronicities, and a powerful desire to break free from artificial systems. All of this is part of the Kali Yuga shift. It is not comfortable, it is not easy, but it is necessary. Society, as it is currently structured, is not built to support awakened beings. It is built to sedate, to distract, to numb. That is why so many feel lost in their purpose, disconnected from community, and weary from the relentless pace of modern life. But this dissonance is the signal. It is the alarm clock of the soul. And as more souls wake up, systems begin to tremble. Institutions once seen as unshakable now seem hollow. Narratives pushed for decades are beginning to unravel. Artificial intelligence replaces human creativity, while spiritual intelligence returns in dreams, meditations, and inner visions. The experts are questioned, and the forgotten wisdom of the ancients rises again through the mouths of children, intuitives, and those once silenced. We are not heading toward collapse. We are heading toward disclosure, not just of extraterrestrial life or hidden technologies, but of something even more profound, our cosmic identity. This is the real modern implication of the Yugas. We are at the edge of forgetting, yes, but also on the threshold of remembering who we are beyond the veil. Not simply humans trapped in a dying system, but souls rising within a cosmic transformation. The storm is not coming. The storm is already here. And it is not to destroy us. It is here to purify us. Something ancient is ending, but not quietly. The storm has begun, not only in the cosmic weather above us, but deep within the collective psyche of humanity. You can feel it. The sense that reality is bending, that timelines are colliding, and that something immense, something invisible yet undeniable, is unraveling the veil we once called normal. We are at the brink, caught between the decaying remnants of an age that worships illusion and the painful birth of a world that remembers truth. This is the collision point, the conflict between two realities. The ancient seers warned that the end of Kali Yuga would not be gentle. It would be like the cracking of stone under celestial pressure. They spoke of a dissolution where the false would fall by its own weight and the real would rise, not through force, but through remembrance. That prophecy is now our lived moment. Look around. Society is not only confused, it is fractured, divided, frantic. You may sense this in your body: sleeplessness, strange dreams, heightened emotions. These are not signs of dysfunction. These are symptoms of soul activation. What if your breakdowns are actually breakthroughs, camouflaged by chaos? Across the globe, the illusion is shattering. Institutions built on secrecy and control are losing their grip. Truths long buried beneath, propaganda, dogma, and fear are resurfacing like ancient bones unearthed by shifting tides. The storm in space, the sudden blackouts, the magnetic anomalies, the strange pulsations captured by observatories mirrors the storm inside us. Because we are not separate from the cosmos. We are its breath. Here is the revelation, the Kali. Yuga ends not because the stars declare it, but because the human spirit reclaims its memory. In this time of awakening, the tension is unbearable for those clinging to the old paradigm. What was once hidden in secret societies, esoteric manuscripts, and temple walls is now flowing through everyday people, through dreams, downloads, synchronicities, and visions that defy logic. Ordinary people are becoming the mystics of a new age. Have you noticed how time feels different, as though days stretch and collapse all at once? This is the disintegration of linear time, the clock of the old world melting under multidimensional light. It is not just time that is breaking. The boundaries between physical and spiritual are dissolving. More individuals are experiencing visitations, ancestral callings, astral travel, and intuitive awakenings. And yet, most still suffer in silence, afraid to speak their truth in a world that calls awakening madness and numbness normal. But this silence is ending. There is a revelation waiting in the ruins, that the greatest war is not between nations or ideologies. It is between the soul's knowing and the ego's denial. The moment you begin to question everything is the moment the storm enters your inner world. And once it does, there is no turning back. This storm is not punishment. It is prophecy. It is not chaos. It is clarity breaking through the illusion. The sacred texts speak of pralaya, a time of cosmic dissolution before rebirth. In Hindu cosmology, it is the cycle in which destruction is not death, but purification. In Norse myth, it is Ragnarok. In Mayan wisdom, It is the great reset of the long count. Different names, same truth. This is that moment. The dissolution of the illusion. The death of the age of forgetting. And the first trembling breath of a world about to remember. The real conflict is not outside. It is inside, within every individual torn between the comfort of lies and the courage of truth. To see clearly now is to be haunted by what you once accepted, but it is also to be liberated. Are you willing to let the false version of you die, so the real you can be born? This is the choice the ancients prepared us for, not with fear, but with fire, not as victims, but as guardians of the dawn. And in this moment of revelation, you may realize something startling, that the Kali Yuga never truly ruled us. We allowed it to, because we forgot who we were. But now, the memory is returning, the codes are reawakening, and the storm you feared is the same force that sets you free. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the external chaos becomes irrelevant, when the noise of collapsing empires, crumbling illusions, and cosmic anomalies fades into silence. In that sacred silence, the soul hears something it has not heard in thousands of years, its own voice. The truth is not coming. The truth has always been here, waiting for your attention, breathing beneath your distractions, whispering beneath the surface of your conditioned identity. The storm you fear is not in space. It is not in politics, not in prophecy. The real storm is the one that calls you inward, into the eye of your being. And here is the climax. You are the storm. The same force that disrupts the false is the force that awakens the true. You were never meant to passively observe the world's unraveling. You were meant to remember yourself as a living key, a consciousness seeded by the stars, incarnated at this exact time, not by accident, but by sacred design. Could it be that your very presence on Earth now is part of a divine orchestration to restore balance? The end of the Kali Yuga is not an event. It is a threshold, a doorway, and only those who remember will walk through it consciously. This is the moment when the illusions fall away. The belief that you are small, that you are separate, that your life is ordinary. These are the chains of Kali Yuga, the era of forgetting, of spiritual blindness, of internal exile. But you are not blind. You are not forgotten. You are awakening into the remembrance that you are the cosmos in human form, the stars woven into flesh, the universal mind clothed in skin and story. When ancient seers spoke of the yugas, they were not describing mere historical cycles. They were describing states of consciousness. And the most profound truth is this: the yugas live not just in time, but in you. The golden age is not just ahead. It is within. What if heaven is not a place, but a state of being you were designed to embody? The eye of the storm is not destruction. It is stillness, clarity, presence. And when you stand in this stillness, when you feel the pulse of creation beating in your chest, the prophecy becomes personal. You are not here to survive the end of an age. You are here to birth the beginning of a new one, and from that place, the world begins to shift. Not because you changed the world, but because you finally remembered you were never separate from it. Now let us descend from the high place. Let us bring the thunderous truth into your quiet, personal world, your morning rituals, your relationships, your inner dialogue. How does one live after seeing the veil fall? This is the sacred task. 2. Translate cosmic truth into daily presence. To live as if your soul is the central axis of your life, not your wounds, not your fears, not society's expectations. What part of your life still believes the illusion is real? When you understand that Kali Yuga ends not outside but inside, you stop waiting for saviors and start listening to your soul. You begin to unlearn everything the age of forgetting taught you. that you are powerless, that you are alone, that your worth is measured by how well you perform in a system designed to disconnect you. The moment you reclaim your divine essence, the illusion cannot hold you. This does not mean you escape the world. No, it means you finally become real inside it. It means when others panic, you become still. When others numb, you feel deeply. When others look for answers in noise, you turn inward, and the silence reveals everything. What is your soul asking you to remember right now? This is not just a spiritual idea, it is a spiritual responsibility. To carry the light of truth into your family, your community, your creations. To speak from the heart when silence would be easier. To act with integrity when compromise tempts you. To choose consciousness over comfort. Because when the storm ends, and it will end, it is not the old systems that will rebuild the world. It is the awakened ones, the ones who walked through the fire of illusion and emerged whole, the ones who saw the darkness and did not run, the ones who felt the world's sorrow and responded not with despair, but with presence. Will you be one of them? Spiritual awakening is not a fantasy of bliss. It is a fierce, holy remembering. It is facing the pain of the collective and saying, I am still here. I choose love. I choose light. I choose to be human, fully. So let this truth settle into you now. The storm is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It strips away the false so the real can emerge. It ends the era of numbness so that you may feel life fully again. It shatters illusions so you can walk, not in fear, but in light. What if your life was not a series of accidents, but a sacred preparation for this very moment? The ending of the Kali Yuga is not a death knell. It is a sacred bell ringing across the ages, calling you home. And now we stand on the other side of the storm, not in ruins, but in revelation. The veil has been lifted, not by force, but by light. What you have just witnessed is not merely the unraveling of an age. It is the unraveling of the illusion that you were ever powerless within it. You have seen the ancient warnings. You have felt the weight of forgotten wisdom echoing through time. And most of all, you have remembered, at least in glimpses, that your life is not a series of random events, but a sacred architecture formed by soul, guided by cosmos, and watched over by forces older than memory. Kali Yuga is not merely ending outside of us, it is dissolving within those who dare to remember who they are beneath the programming, beneath the systems, beneath the skin. What will you now carry forward that no longer belongs to the world that is fading? This is your moment, not to ascend away from life, but to descend more fully into it. To be here, grounded, luminous, awake. To make your choices from truth rather than fear. To feel with depth, to act with purpose, and to walk in this world as a being who knows their soul is ancient, eternal, and irreplaceable. The storm has done its work. It has shaken the walls of false identity. It has revealed the architecture of illusion. But it has also revealed the golden thread, the eternal self within you, untouched, waiting, radiant. Let this be the beginning, not the end. Let it be the turning point where you no longer live as a spectator in a crumbling world, but as a sovereign soul rising in a new one. You are not here to survive the end of time. You are here to resurrect eternity from within it. And so I leave you with this. The sky may tremble, the earth may shift, the old may fall. But the awakened soul stands still, not because it resists the storm, but because it remembers. It is the calm within it. Welcome home.